Alright, this is a quick tutorial on how to change from my loop iteration terminal to a shift register. You can use one or the other. Oftentimes you can use either one, but sometimes one is better than the other, so it's good to know how to do both. Now I want to have the same output that I have now, which is a single cycle of a sine wave. I'm using 400 or 100 points, an amplitude of 4, but I'm going to change my block diagram so that we don't use auto-indexing anymore. So I'm going to create what's called a shift register, and a shift register allows a loop to have some memory. So we're going to pass a value out from each cycle and bring it back to the next cycle. And so I can add a shift register by going to the left or the right of the block diagram. In Labview, when in doubt, right-click on stuff, and sure enough, if I right-click, I get a shift register. And so what I'm going to do for my shift register is I need to initialize it, so I'll start at some value. So I'm going to grab the value 0, and I'm going to wire that in from the left. So that's where we'll start. That's the first value. And then what I'm going to do, I don't need my iteration terminal anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in the value of 2 pi over n, and I'm going to add it to the previous value. And so send that out the shift register. So each cycle what I have the number from last time gets added to 2 pi over n, and that number gets sent out, brought in from last time. So this is a fairly simple operation, and so I will have then a number that is increasing by 2 pi over n every cycle. If I send that out to my sine wave, now I'm tracking the value. Instead of using the loop iteration terminal, I'm now tracking it using a sine wave, or using a shift register. And sure enough, if I run that, it actually looks like we shifted by 1 pixel, and the reason is because I grabbed the sine wave after the addition, so the old one contains 0 first, and so if I run this, you'll see it shift back a tiny bit, and there we go. So that's an example of how to use the shift register rather than the loop iteration terminal to generate a sine wave.